The 2024 presidential election has yet another shakeup, as Jill Stein just announced her candidacy for President of the United States. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today we got some breaking news, everyone. Jill Stein, yes, that Jill Stein, just announced her candidacy for President of the United States next year. Yep, the Green Party officially has their own candidate, a major one. Now, at first it seemed like Cornel West was going to be the Green Party candidate, but he decided for whatever reason to leave the Green Party. Well, he's doing his own thing, still running for president. And it was a big question for the Green Party about who was going to be the nominee. Well, they may have just found it. Jill Stein. This adds yet another wrinkle into next year's election, and another candidate who absolutely hurts Biden's chances next year. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you could join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. Now, I actually had a video planned for this morning about a post-mortem of last night's debate, but right when I finished it, right when I was about to publish it, this dropped. So that video will come out later today, but this is just so important that I have to talk about it because this absolutely impacts next year's election. Jill Stein could potentially give Donald Trump the presidency again. So let's get into it. Let's get into her announcement, press release. She did have a video, but let's just read what she had to say. Jill Stein announced today that she is seeking the Green Party nomination for President of the United States. This is absolutely critical for next year's election. Jill Stein is one of the biggest or best performers the Green Party has ever had. Not counting Ralph Nader. I'm talking about the past, 10 years. Past 3 or 4 election cycles. It's been Jill Stein. And she was the best performer in the last 10, 12 years. Stein is a Harvard-educated doctor, a pioneering environmental health advocate, and a longtime organizer for People Planted Peace. Says Stein of her mission of 2024, "I'm running for president to offer a better choice for the people outside the failed two-party system. We'll put a pro-worker, anti-war, climate emergency agenda front and center in this election and on the ballot in November." That's the last part in particular. Climate emergency agenda and anti-war. She's talking about what's happening in Gaza. There are a lot of Democrats that are pissed off with Biden right now when it comes to his handling of the war with Hamas, between Israel and Hamas. Jill Stein is trying to get those voters. So is Cornel West. Biden has a big problem on his hands. Stein's run comes as an unprecedented moment in modern electoral politics, with an unsettled electorate and a commanding majority of Americans expressing a desire for a presidential candidate outside the duopoly, which I agree with. I do think we need more major parties. Absolutely. I think we do. This party needs, I think we really do need more. According to a recent Gallup poll, 63% of U.S. adults currently agree with the statement that the Republican and Democrat parties do such a poor job of representing the American people that a third party is needed. This represents a 7% point increase from a year ago, and is the highest since Gallup first asked the question in 2003. People are fed up with both parties. They hate both parties. They think they don't care about them. They screw them all the time, which is true. With the war machine swallowing trillions of dollars as working people struggle to survive and the climate crisis accelerates, it's time to offer voters a viable alternative to the bought-off politicians who have thrown them under the bus, said Stein. The ruling parties that got us into this mess aren't getting us out. Both Democrats and Republicans have betrayed their promises again and again. Political insiders who always smear outsiders like us and try to shame voters who want better choices, said Stein. But without freedom of choice in elections, there's no democracy. It's time to offer the American people a real choice on their ballot independent of the failed establishment. Dr. Stein unveiled a campaign website at jillstein2024.com, laying out the campaign's vision to solve the key crisis of our time: crushing inequality, endless war, and climate collapse. She is absolutely targeting Democrat voters, the progressive wing of the Democrats that are pissed off with Biden. And I think she could get a chunk of them. And this is even talking about Cornel West, who, mind you, is still running for president just as an actual independent, not with any party. If he gets on the ballot, so does Stein. You're talking about a decent portion of Biden's vote potentially going to one of these two. And you're not even talking about what's happening with RFK. When we stand together, we can provide living wage jobs for all Americans, said Stein. We can guarantee an economic bill of rights, with the right to a job, healthcare, housing, food, education, and more. We can abolish student debt and medical debt. We created a Green New Deal with millions of jobs to fight the climate crisis and protect Mother Earth. We can ensure constitutional rights, freedoms, and justice for all. We can end endless wars and rampant militarism, and use diplomacy and international law to end violence, occupation, and apartheid. We can build real democracy to empower the people. We do have the power, and we can use it in this election to start building an America in a world that works for all of us. So, yep, Stein is in. This is critical in Wrong One because of this. Right? Actually, let me look at 2020 first. So the Green Party, despite what many people think, wasn't on the ticket in Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Nevada. They were right in choice, but let's be real. Howie Hawkins was an incredibly weak candidate. He couldn't even get on the ballot in most states. And you look at, the margins of these states. Look at it. Georgia, Trump lost by a quarter of a point. Arizona by a third. Wisconsin by just a half point. Pennsylvania by just a point. Nevada by 2.5. Just to give you perspective, Jill Stein was on the ticket in these states except Nevada. And look what she got. 1% in Michigan. Just under 1% in Pennsylvania. 1% in Wisconsin, 1.5% in Arizona, 0.19% in Georgia. She could absolutely single-handedly flip the election to Trump if it comes down to the wire. Because she appeals to only progressive Dems. And she is hammering Gaza, which was always the big question with Biden. If Gaza or something like that ever happened in the Middle East, what would happen to the Biden coalition or the Dem coalition? There's always the risk that it would implode. And so far, there's some cracks showing. And you have a new candidate running for president who in the past was able to get a decent chunk of the vote in Wisconsin, Arizona, Pennsylvania. Critical states. And she may get more than last time because she is a stronger Green Party candidate than Howie Hawkins was. It's true. This is absolutely critical. And we don't know how this is going to go. Because at first we thought it was just Cornel West, who was pulling at 4 to 5%, which I don't think he will get. But if he gets just 2%, that's huge. Now you have Stein getting 1 to 2%. RFK getting a decent chunk of the vote. This is ahistorical what's happening. We don't know how this election is going to go next year. And I don't think anybody understands that, really. these are the most major third-party candidates we've had in many years. RFK is definitely the biggest name. He's going to get a decent chunk of the vote. We got now Jill Stein. We had Cornel West. Who else are going to enter? Frickin' Gary Johnson? I mean, this election is just getting so bizarre. Everyone's jumping in because they realize blood's in the water. They realize that something within the Democrat coalition is breaking. Even within the Republican base, there's some questions. And that's why everyone is jumping in, because they realize, oh, wait a minute. We have a shot of winning. Even though it's not going to happen. None of these candidates have any shot. They could absolutely defeat Biden's re-election chances. And that could give us Trump winning the states of Wisconsin by a lot, like some of these polls are claiming. Which I thought at first was insane, but if you have essentially two progressive Dems, one moderate Dem, quote-unquote moderate in RFK, on the ticket, who does appeal to Trump voters, but I do think we'll have some overlap with Dems, that could be a big problem for Biden. But the big question is, can Jill Stein get on the ticket in most of these states? I think she can. I think she does have a better voter, or a larger voter base than, say, Howie Hawkins. I think she is more liked than Hawkins, more well-known. I think she can. But we really don't know. We just don't know how things are going to go this year. But anyways, folks, thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.